Hey everybody, this is Kai from the Techno Funk Boy. All right, we are going to be looking at some Super Mario World today. In particular, we're going to listen to one song from it, the Ghost House theme, which is very memorable. You know this tune if you've come anywhere close to this game in your life, and we're trying to figure out why is this song so darn unsettling. First thing we gotta note is there's kind of three memorable aspects to this song. You have these very, very short staccato treble notes that are kind of sitting on top of everything. They're the only consistent thing running throughout the entire tune, and they're kind of playing these arpeggios back and forth and providing kind of the rhythm and the foundation for our song. Then you have these moaning sounds, and that's the best way I can describe it. They kind of fade in and then they slide downwards. And finally, as you get into the song longer, what you get is the actual melody. And so we're going to be tackling all three of these parts to the song and kind of playing them in isolation. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to actually play each of the there's three tracks that are playing those high staccato notes. We're going to play track one here. Okay, now in track two. Okay, so track two is providing the harmony for track one. They're playing in unison, but they're playing different notes. Now, if you're listening on headphones, you notice this. One is playing primarily in the left ear, and the other one's playing primarily in the right ear. This is causing the sound to just surround you, engulf you immediately. It's just one of kind of the unsettling parts of this. Track three is a little bit different. I think it's really cool. And without actually isolating this, I don't know that I would have picked this out as a completely separate track, but it is. All right, so that's super cool because that's actually it's adding kind of this tinny percussive sound to that melody while it's doubling the melody to it. But if I play all three of the tracks together, you're going to notice that the tone of that track goes away, but you hear the percussive nature of it. It takes kind of the tones of the other two tracks and adds this little tinny sound to it. I think it's very, very cool. Check this out. See, if I take track three out, look, check this out. It's much more straightforward, right? But adding that adds this like depth to this sound. The other thing you're going to notice is that it fades in and then it pulls back. And this has this weird, like all of this, and I really wonder if Koji Kondo was like intentional in this, but it kind of mirrors the activity of the booze in the house itself. You know, they kind of float around you. They're in different places around you, and they might charge in when you're turned away, but then they'll pull back. And so there's a lot of just really super cool stuff that is happening in those tracks. So already kind of the unsettling nature of this is rearing its ugly head, and we're going to figure out why that is. And when we figure out why that is, we're actually figuring out why the whole track is so unsettling. And the reason, in short, is tritones. So a little bit of background. I'm going to grab my trusty guitar here, and we're going to try to very, very briefly explain what a tritone is. You have your root note in any chord. You have a root note. This is E, by the way. and then you add notes to it to make a chord. And whatever note we add, it's like we might add a fifth, and that simply means this is the fifth note in the E scale. The fifth is very, very pleasant, and it's used in everything. Everything in music is kind of based on that relationship between the root and the fifth. The fourth also has a very pleasant, not quite as pleasant, but a pleasant tone. That's great. This is stuff we hear in quite literally nearly everything. And so this is very, very familiar to us. It should be noted that whether you're in a major key or a minor key, the fourth and the fifth are the same. They don't change. This is very important, because when we're dealing with a tritone, we're actually hitting that note right in between them. It is 3 whole steps from the root, and what a whole step is, there's like a half step, and then there's a whole step. So 3 whole steps. And that is musically unsettling and tense. Whatever I'm doing with this song, you don't want me to stay here. That's the point of this, is that's a very unsettling sound. And so this is very, very, you can use the chord in a number of different ways, but what Koji Kondo is doing in this case is using it in order to create that tension right away, and he's going to put it in this part immediately. So those chords that they're making are nearly all tritones. Oops. This is, of course, slowed down, but tritone. That's actually a fifth. Tritone. So that's why we're getting that tension right off the bat, and it's great, and it's intense, and it's setting the mood right away. This is not something that you would put on as the soundtrack for your house. It sounds like something has gone wrong, and that's why it's so good in horror situations, and in places that's supposed to have that kind of tension, that kind of unsettled feel to it. So let's jump over to our. It's going to take a second to get to. All right, let's do our moans. Yeah. Yeah. First of all, that's just a cool effect, right? It's just, it once again, it gives you that feeling that something here has gone wrong. This is not the way this is supposed to sound. But again, what he's using are tritones. And then, it slides down. And what he's doing is he's walking up a whole step each time, which is not a scale that we would use in life. In a pop song, we don't go up just over and over and over again, whole steps, because that's how you get tritone. Three whole steps. Is that tritone sound, and then it'll go. He'll go. Oh no, wait. Actually, that's the last one. So the walk up itself kind of completes that tritone cycle, and he gets up to a tritone from the original chord he uses. Oh, so there's a lot going on there, and this is something that Koji Kondo likes to do in this Death Mountain tune from Zelda. Does the same thing. It's like the whole thing is just tritones, and it's very effective. It is very unsettling. So when we get to the actual melody, he's going to do something different this time. He's going to play what is essentially a normal melody, but he's going to actually play it. Have two tracks playing it, but playing it an octave apart, and that has a certain effect that I really like. And if you listen to the Dyson Dreary soundtrack that I compose, I do that. I like doing that a lot. It's just hitting these octaves, because it first of all, it has a punch to it. When you're hitting the two A's, for instance, just hitting two A's, and they're and so this is the same note, but they're an octave apart. It's got a punch to it, but it also has kind of a hollow feel to it often. And again, it's not the way we would normally compose. It's not the way we would normally play something, and so it has a kind of a disconcerting feel to it. And so if you played like the what he was normally doing, let's see if I can get it right. Okay, that it's a very, very cool melody, and it's very, very effective, but doing it with octaves. Sorry. Gosh, I can't play tonight. It adds a little bit of a punch to it. It adds that a little bit of that just hollow feeling to it, and that is just adding to the atmosphere. And so it's very cool on amongst all of these tritones going just back and forth, and all around of it, he's hitting with a a traditional, I guess, a traditional melody. It's a very memorable melody. It's a very a very cool melody in and of itself. It's a little bit of a haunting melody, but hitting it with those octaves as well is just adding that extra dimension that that is just really completing this song and giving it that overall unsettling feel to it that is just making just adds so much to the atmosphere of the ghost houses in this game. So that is essentially why this song is so unsettling, is so tense, and one of the reasons that the Super Mario World soundtrack is just a remarkable accomplishment, a really, really great work of music. And if you enjoy this sort of content, please hit that subscribe button below. Hit the little bell to notify you on new videos. I really, really like doing these sort of musical analyses, and I'd like to do more of them. And so if you like it, please do that. Hit the thumbs up to let me know that this is the kind of thing that you like to see, and I'll be happy to oblige. Really do appreciate it. And stay tuned. We'll get back to more of this as time goes. See you later.